So after all that was said and done, I noticed that this attachment had gone, but now for step 2 of this problem, it's like it left residual energy behind with me. So the intrusive thoughts and all that other stuff, I mean, they had gone down, but I mean, I was still dealing with that along with an unhealthy amount of anxiety. So I went back for a second time, and then you suggested past life regression.
Yes.
For this problem. And what I found out was very interesting. So 500 years ago, I was in either India or Egypt, and I had slept with the prince's or king's wife. He walked in on us. The thing was, the wife never loved him, forced her into marriage with him, but she was in love with me. And after that whole thing went down, I was ordered up into his chamber with his men, and he had put this curse on me. And then after he had put the curse on me, his men then beat the hell out of me, and that's how I died in that lifetime. So I found that out, and then went into the chambers, and the contract was agony, so we tore that contract up and made happiness instead. Do you think that was that the curse contract, agony? Was that from him?
That was from the past life. Now, to be clear, I'm not sure I think the entity was separate, but I think it was feeding the same emotion. Right?
Sure.
Because we all have past lives, so you had this entity attachment over here, and you had this karmatic piece from the past life. I feel like they both fed into like one nasty river of anxiety and
sure
everything else. And the chambers that you're talking about in the shamanic realm, in my lineage, which is Peruvian, we go through 4 different chambers. We go in to see when there's a traumatic past life, is what happens is you make a contract at that point of death. And within that contract, the contract's made to protect yourself, but it's also made out of ego, so it's limiting. So the protection you're giving yourself is actually limiting you. The DNA is holographic. It passes through lifetime after lifetime in the hologram of the DNA. So you keep playing out that contract, right?
Yeah.
So once we get that contract, we need to witness it being destroyed, right?
Yeah.
I'm the witness. Having a witness makes it more powerful. Then we write a new declaration. We also get the soul piece, and we get a gift of divination. And so you're getting that whole healing. It's a all-encompassing healing.
So after that, this second healing session, this past life regression, that anxiety that was just not going away, it finally went down. I mean, like, that was the worst anxiety I'd ever felt in my life. And then, like, it's gone down like 80-85% since then. And along with that, with my Crohn's diagnosis from last year, you know, not to be too much information, but I mean, this is part of irritable bowel diseases. That day I was at like 9 to 10 bowel movements a day. Now I'm sitting around 3 to 4 now.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. I mean,
Isn't that amazing?
a lot of people, they will focus on the physical only, or the mental.
We have a belief that 99% of all ailments come from some sort of energetic, whether it's this life, a past life, it comes an ancestral issue. It comes from disruption within the body, an emotional dis-ease, right, which could come from many things. So when we clear that, the body begins to respond. So even with somebody moving off subject, but when somebody comes in with, heart disease, right, and it's hereditary, we move back and see where the ancestors broke their heart or had their heart broken, right? And a lot of people with like obesity issues, when we go back to the ancestors, it's because their food was stolen. And so there were malnutrition. They could only live off potatoes and cabbage, or, like they had no real protein. And, obesity can be a sign of malnutrition. So we go back and we mend that through the ancestors.
Wow. Who would have thought?
Yeah, so Holly, I want to thank you through this whole process, and especially helping me out. I mean, I'm glad I found you, because without you, without Harvey, and without getting that reading from Chris Fleming, I have no idea where I would be today. Probably not a good place.
It's an honor. It's an honor. One thing I do want to say really quick is to piggyback off what you said about people need to look at more than the physical. Most times people just end up on a slew of medications when they don't need to.
Yeah. People go see the doctors, they go see the therapists. Not saying that you shouldn't, but the point is, if these two things are not working, then that leaves one more thing, and that's the spiritual.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people disregard that pretty much because they think it's not real.
Right.
And it's as real as the realm that we're living in.
Right. Well, you can't see your Wi-Fi, but it's real.
There you go.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, your radio waves come from somewhere, right? And spirit's the same thing.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you for having me, and thank you for finding me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad you were there. So, okay.